What's good, y'all? It's your boy A2YC, and today I'm gonna show you guys how I turn this flat hair into a textured fringe with a mid fade. And now getting into it, I like to start by creating my bangs. And when you do this, you want to make sure that you are point cutting to give it that textured look and so it doesn't sit so blunt on the forehead. And now, as you can see, I'm not really taking off too much length. Our client likes where it's sitting on the forehead at the moment, but we still wanted to make sure that we can give them that textured look up front. And after we finish doing the bangs, we're going to section this off in the back and the front. And the reason why I do this is to keep everything organized and to make sure I'm not cutting into something that I shouldn't be. And once we separate the back and front, we're going to go in and create our guideline for the shear portion of this cut. And how I do so is I create a strip down the middle of the head as we comb over the two sides. Now, we want to make sure that we're just working with the middle strip. And so as you can see, I'm using my comb to push over the one side as I pull up the strip. And my guide is going to be where our bangs are. So as you can see, I locate and I cut everything according to. Something to keep in mind when you're doing the shear portion of a cut and the client wants texture. As you can see, I'm really going on an angle, and this is what you call texture cutting. Next, what we're going to do is create a part directly down the middle, so we split the top in two halves. Now, once I have a clean part, what I'm gonna do is take horizontal sections, bring it up through my comb, wait till I see that guideline, and then I'm gonna cut accordingly to that. As you guys can see, I am taking my time and I'm making sure that I'm getting these clean cuts. With doing that, it helps us save time overall, just because when we do cross-checking, there will be less for us to actually clean up. When it comes to cutting the front part, since we don't want to take off actual length, sometimes it will lay pretty heavy, and how I remove that weight is coming straight from the top and point cutting into that. Another way that you guys can do it as well is taking your thinning shears and just regular cutting it. And then once we're done with the shear portion, like I said before, we're gonna go in and cross-check. We're gonna make sure that everything's even. We did do a texture cut, so obviously it is gonna be a little uneven, but if there's extra long hairs, we're gonna get those while we do this part. And now when it comes to the fade, I debulk with my 2, and as you can see, I'm really flicking out at the top. During this part right here, this is really where I create my shape. Something to keep in mind when you do any type of fade, whether it's a taper, low fade, mid fade, high fade, is shape is definitely key. Keeping that consistency during the cut is really key. And as we move to the back, as you can see, we're dropping down just a little bit. And the reason why we do that is to make the occipital bone not pop out as much. Now, when I set in my guidelines, I use my soft trimmers, which means they're not as sharp. The reason why I'm starting a little low and then bringing it up a little higher is because I like to keep my C-cups dark naturally. So with doing so, I gotta leave more hair there. And now since we're doing a regular mid fade and not a drop fade, we're going to be going more straight than down on this part, but we still want to make sure that it's low enough so that we can really hide the occipital bone a little bit. Once I clean up the hair underneath with the trimmers, we're going to come in with our foil shavers and get that stubble. As you can see, I turned my foil shavers, and the reason being is because we don't want to take this foil shaver line all the way to the bald line. And the reason why is because it will make it a bit harder to get that bald line out, which just creates an extra step. So to save time, we just flick up right underneath. Getting into the fade process, I start with my no guard all the way open, and I go up about 1/4 inch. And as you can see, we're really flicking out at the top of that, and we're still staying consistent with our shape, like I said earlier. And the reason why we use this brush is so that we can see what we're working with. As you cut hair sticks to other pieces of hair, and it can throw you off and make you see things that really aren't there. After setting that guideline all the way open, you're going to come up halfway through that with a lever halfway closed. And then after that, we're going to close it up all the way to get that bald line out. At this moment, what you're seeing is just me detailing. And when we detail, we really just want to use the corner of our blade so we can be real precise and not taking our fade too high. Because if we use the whole blade, we'll ultimately leave a harsh line that we'll have to get out. And now let's say, for instance, you did leave a line where your bald line's at. What I would do is come in with your trimmers up first. And as you can see, we're really just using the corner and we're flicking out. The next step we're going to do is take our one guard all the way open, and again going up about 1/4 inch, staying consistent with our shape, and again still flicking out at the top of this second guideline. Once I set in that guideline all the way open, I'll come in with it closed just to clean up just a little bit. As you can see, I'm really just flicking at the bottom line there to kind of clean this up before I come in with my half guard. When I come in with my half guard, I'm coming in with it halfway open, and I'm really just flicking up halfway through it. And sometimes when it seems a little dark at the top of the guideline, I'll take the half guard all the way open, and I'll use the corner to break up those clumps of hair to make it look a lot smoother. To get that line in between the no guard and the half guard, we're coming in with our half guard all the way closed. And if you guys seem like that line didn't go away during that, switch to your no guard. Again, use your corner and just flick at that line. And now for our last guideline, we're going to come in with our 1.5 guard all the way closed. And once again, we're staying with the same shape, and we're still flicking out at the top of this guideline. And once we have that guideline in place, we're going to follow that up with our one guard halfway open, and we're going to come through about halfway through that guideline. Once again, making sure that we're flicking at the top of that. If you guys have any specific questions throughout this cut, make sure you guys comment down below, as well as subscribe because I have more content like this coming up. Now to get rid of that line in between the half guard and the one guard, we're going to come with our one all the way closed and flick at that line. And if you guys feel like that line didn't come out during that, you guys can switch to the half guard and corner it with it all the way open. And or you guys can also come in with the no guard all the way open and really use the corner. And this is what I mean when I say that. I use this technique to really detail my fades. It breaks up the clumps of hair and makes this fade look a lot smoother. And as you guys can see, since we kept the consistency throughout our fade with the shape, it made it pop out a lot more and it made it look more organized. And now for a smooth transition to the top, we're going to come in with our clipper over comb. And as you can see, we're going to take our time locating where we need to cut. And when we do get to that spot, as you can see, we're going to flare out our comb. When it comes to clipper over comb, the comb is ultimately your guard. Once we're done with the clipper over comb, we're going to switch to our thinning shears to really smooth it out. When you come in with the thinning shears, make sure that you guys are just cutting the tips, because if you dig in too much, you'll just create more harsher lines. And now, as y'all can see, this fade is looking really clean. At the moment, I'm just doing last second touches and detailing this up. Once again, if you guys have any questions on what I was doing, make sure to comment down below. And if you guys were able to take something out of this, make sure that you subscribe.